3 times in this matchup. So
yeah, we're doing it twice for 100 Thieves. They got the free pass on that one.
I hope you read the patch notes. There was actually a rule that allowed duplicate agents to come out. No, I'm kidding, of course.
We're just for 100 Thieves.
If you look at, by the way, Sentinels lineup against Team 1 on T1, when they ended up coming here, they decided to bring a raise. They're foregoing the raise this time. So
it's 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Would you like to dive into them a little bit more?
I mean, I'd love to dive straight into it. Yeah, so foregoing the raise, bringing the Reyna instead, and it's going to be the same for both of these teams. This is actually a step backwards for both of them. As in more recent matches, for 100 Thieves versus Ambox, and for Sentinels versus T1, it was the raise instead of the Reyna. So I don't know. I think this is interesting. It's definitely more leaning straight into the head-to-head gunfights, and it's going to be easier to disengage and fake out if that's what you're trying to be doing.
What we're used to seeing here is not only is the utility play going to be incredibly important, and that utility for the most part is going to hinge around your executes when you're on attack with Sage and with Viper, and determining where you want to go. If you're going to try to potentially have a distraction over on the opposite site, then you're going to run Sova to try and do that and get information as best as you can. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how they're going to stack up here, as both of these teams on Haven, obviously it's a 3-site map, but both of these teams on Haven really liked running fake outs. And I mean, we've seen them before on Icebox. You've got mid control as well, which can be so crucial. So for the very first round, 100 Thieves is going to look towards B. Their movement will be obscured by Viper as some utility comes on out, and they take up land very quickly now.
Yeah, this is a fast action for 100 Thieves. They've already got yellow control, and that's going to help them a lot for push onto B. You can see the Sage Wall come out from Stick, though. He's going to try and give himself some more cover, but Asuna is just better in that fight, and now the control is starting to go hard in favor of 100 Thieves.
Asuna trying to work around the box as best as he can, but the frenzy from zombs close range punishing onto 2 as Asuna Nitro can't get anything for it. Finally, zombs is punished in this position, leaving ShahZaM up above. He finds Steel and then immediately moves forwards. Bit of a slow bit of action before ShahZaM then steps into it, and he intends clean up. So far, Sentinels have been mighty fine on these 2 maps when it comes to pistol rounds.
I gotta say, I really do love TenZ on Reyna and ShahZaM on Jett. I think that combination's been really interesting from them, and it works out fairly well. This first round, I mean, obviously we aren't going to see much that's telling of that. I just want to say from like past experience, it's an interesting duo there for Sentinels, and that retake at the end, together, they did really well in teamwork, challenging at the same time. The fast action for 100 Thieves did really hit a wall, and that wall's name was zombs. So great job to him holding it down over by B.
I don't know if they had any information as to zombs' position down below, because they looked like they cleared it and then immediately looked elsewhere, almost as if they didn't think somebody was there because zombs didn't bother to take a fight. Because of that, it ultimately ended up biting them, and well, I mean, everything else snowballed from there after the Sage Wall had been used in full utility as well from Viper.
No sight control.
It looks like it's going to be the same thing. By the way, 100 Thieves in, well, they're going to make out like bandits. Are they aware of the fact that they basically have the entire site to themselves? That's the real question. But immediately, Sentinels, well, they take a step forward. Down goes 2 members. Oh, Hiko, a beautiful shot as he, with the collateral, takes out both Sick and dapr. Spike is down as well, so 100 Thieves in the post plan. The ShahZaM can't hit his shots close range. Ethan punishes him for it. Steel trying to delay, as is the Viper of Zombs. Even though 100 Thieves will continue to collapse onto the 2 last defenders. Out they go around the wall. Zombs is good for 1, but he's going to have to do a little bit more, as it's 1v2 around yellow. There you go. You have enough time. Waiting to try and see if Ethan's going to bait. Ethan goes for just a jiggle peek, wasting as much time as possible. This is a fruitless fight. Zombs knows that he's out of it. Whether he'll get the kill or not and ultimately perish to the spike is anybody's guess. It's a thrifty round, and it ends up going in favor of 100 Thieves.
What a massive round from 100 Thieves. The thrifty to change the round, or sorry, change the dynamic of this economy in its entirety. Now the advantage that Sentinels got early by winning round number 1 is flipped on its head, and their economy is the one shattered. 100 Thieves find themselves able to buy rifles, and they're going to be plenty comfortable to take the next couple rounds, maybe next one. Certainly this next one. Unless, of course, Sentinels does some crazy eco stuff, and TenZ has bought a sheriff. So definitely don't count Sentinels out just yet. But at the same time, beautiful round there from 100 Thieves, and I love their fast action plays onto B, especially the fact that Sentinels left it completely uncontested. They way over-rotated from mid. I mean, Sentinels handed that one to 100 Thieves.
Zombs is just going to play inside of his own playground over by A. He pops the Viper's den, Viper's pit, and he'll get out of there as quickly as he can. 100 Thieves, though, look like they want to go towards B. Nobody is intent on moving in A's direction. Just kind of languishing for now, and it's a slow take. Very, very slow. 30 seconds burned from the round, and a lot of 100 Thieves are still towards mid. They're now looking to challenge over by B, and the Sage on defense is going to look to try and hold them off.
I love this split push, and the flank watch from Steel is going to work out. Ethan ready to get 2 big frags there to get Sick and Dapr, who were trying to play for a late retake on B through the lanes, but not able to get that to happen. Obviously, this is a save for Sentinel, so this is not the end of the world for them losing this. They want to do as much damage to the economy as they can, though, and they're not going to be able to get very much. I love the strategy from 100 Thieves. Great flank watch again from Steel. The double push up through 2 because it wasn't being watched really for Sentinels, basically free, and then the late push out through B main. I mean, it's a nice split.
Steel could possibly be Kingmaker here on the flank. As long as he doesn't end up getting caught out or punished, he's going to miss Zombs as the Viper just continues to walk towards where the spike is planted. A bit of a delay as best they can. Hiko pre-fire ShahZaM, a nice shot, but Steel is able to get in on it. He finds one, misses the opportunity onto Zombs, and Zombs getting away with just 9 HP. Essentially delaying the inevitable at this point, seeing if you can find anybody else on 100 Thieves. The answer to that question, by the way, no. Nitro does clean up work, and 100 Thieves now has the lead 2-1.
Well, nothing too crazy there for 100 Thieves. Again, I really like this strategy. That's super clever. And the fact that Sentinels didn't have much control over by market was really rough for them. But at the same time, I mean, what do you expect from a save round? So now, Sentinels able to buy. And this time, the operator is in the hands of ShahZaM on Jet. So that switch up there is, I think, telling of how people are feeling about the roles they're playing, the weapons they're playing. But we've seen this before. This isn't like a new thing, seeing that switch up there for TenZ and ShahZaM. So I'm sure it'll work out just fine. I'm interested to see if ShahZaM's going to be landing his shots.
Well, Steel is at least on to TenZ, who'd struggled a little bit on those operator rounds in map number 1. Hiko obviously being where he was best. Hiko, not Hiko, by the way. I know that can be confusing, given the fact that Hiko's in the actual round itself. Ethan using his ult, by the way, is to try and gain information, and he could have relocated if need be, but it's not uncommon for teams to burn it early and then use it to scout out. Obviously, if you're not bringing a bunch of agents that have intel gathering at their fingertips. Spike getting planted yet again from 100 Thieves, and they will scramble out of the site as Steel tries to wait out the Sage wall that's up in tube. Viper ult expended by Nitro as he's going to blanket the Spike and surrounding area and will excel at those close quarter fights. Asuna gets spotted by Zombs, though. Dropped he is, and Nitro in the midst of this pit. He'll outduel Zombs as he sees the Hunter's Fury just go on by. Still just watching these angles. Seems to be a bit slow on the retake here. Backing up, Steel, a nice kill. 2 big kills, actually, as it's just a scramble all over the map. dapr in a 1v3. He knows that this round is effectively over, and, well, unless he gets caught out, he should walk away with his life. Information goes. Nice play by dapr, but ultimately it doesn't matter. It's not going to have an impact whatsoever on the round, even if he gets the final kill onto Hiko, which he won't. Another round from 100 Thieves on the board.
And just a little bit of economy damage really at the end there. And that's not that much, to be honest, especially considering Steel has really been fragging out as that pseudo kind of flank watch, lurker role. He's been playing that position perfectly. It is kind of odd to make the Killjoy work for you on attack. You could definitely do it, especially by B. You know, those nano swarms are really useful in the post. But at the same time, I love what I'm seeing from Steel as he just lurks up through mid late after his team has already executed. And honestly, Sentinels have let that punish them way too many rounds. Like, it's forgivable on a save round, but you now know that Steel is doing that, and he's been doing it consistently. So that's the part where, now that you have rifles, you should be paying more attention to that. Steel has been definitely on form through that mid push.
ShahZaM is almost in attacker spawn right now, and on that flank position could catch somebody from 100 Thieves if they're not looking in that right direction. Just a bit too slow, though. Both ShahZaM and Zombs will need to get over towards A, as that's where the execute is going down. There's a Killjoy just trying to waste some time with that lockdown. Initiated, 5 seconds remaining, and everybody will have to try to evade it lest you get detained. Asuna up top, unable to land the shots that he needs to, and will immediately head back to the ropes, but Sentinels are getting in on the board. ShahZaM and Sick in particular, the ult from Jet working favorably for them. 2 from Sick now as, well, a thrifty round. And Sentinels, in the snap of a finger, end up collapsing on 100 Thieves and taking the round because of it.
Wow, so this icebox has had so many twists and turns already, and we're only on round 6 now. 100 Thieves managed to take round 2 after losing the pistol round, and they completely wiped the board of for Sentinels and ruined their economy, changed the tone of all of the rounds and the expected progression. And now Sentinels do similarly as they manage a thrifty round, stacking up on A. And this is despite the Killjoy ult that we saw, the lockdown from Steel. I mean, it really wasn't that effective. Also, it didn't detain anyone, but also the control was not well in hand for 100 Thieves. When the retake came from Sentinels, it was an absolute blender. This is going to be, speaking of, a blender by itself, as this is a quick action through mid for B control. Ethan's going to get the leadoff pick onto 6, and that's going to be a good start, but zombs is there by Yellow to re.
Stops it in its tracks. For now, as long as there can be a refrag coming in from 100 Thieves, it might continue to roll forwards. And that's Hiko who's going to do just that, punishing ShahZaM. A beautiful X, by the way, drawn by these Viper walls, as now Steel marches over towards A. Spike in hand, for the record. This is going to prompt Sentinels to have to maneuver back to the A site, as they were holding down B quite successfully. Out goes a dart and smoke to potentially conceal them, as 100 Thieves are very close to being able to get in on this. They have a numbers advantage in a 4v3. dapr's trying to think otherwise, though, and make it so that it's more of an even contest. Unfortunately for him, he misses most of those shots, as TenZ now evades the Sova ult and grabs Ethan before immediately getting out of there as quickly as he can. He's worse for wear, though. Zombs is not, by the way, and he'll lose vision now before TenZ and dapr go down to Nitro, just gunning through them, leaving Zombs in a 1v2. Spike is down, so he's working against the clock as well. This is where things get tough for him. They don't have any intel as to where he could be, but they know it's going to come from over towards spawn. Zombs with 1. He gets tagged, and he'll have to back away. Tagged yet again. Left, right. Beautiful shot from Zombs. Goodness gracious. He'll hop on and get the defuse, and the round goes in favor of Sentinels.
What a shot from Zombs. And what... Sentinels, they secure an even round count, but effectively the leaders, they should get the round right after this. That's impressive to say the least. Beautiful stuff. You don't really see just straight isolated 1v1s like that, usually in a post plant. The spike planted there, 100 Thieves could have played that way better. They didn't necessarily need to take those isolated gunfights. And spoke too soon, the economy's actually going to be just fine for 100 Thieves. A little bit on the lighter side. This is going to be the make it or break it here for them. But they have their rifles. The only real hindrance here is that Guardian, and I know Steel can land those shots to the Guardian. He'll be fine.
Yeah, so Sentinels being able to put some rounds on the board. Tied up now as 100 Thieves are focused on A. Good news for Sentinels. So are Sentinels, as they look in that particular direction. ShahZaM opping over by green. He's going to look all the way from B towards what is the attacker spawn, and the Sova of Hiko could be the one that ends up fighting him. Out goes a drone, and a shot from the operator gets the intel that he needs, and immediately ShahZaM peels off as Sentinels are delaying. They're delaying as best as they can, at least. Out goes Alir to try and blind 100 Thieves, who are still buried down at the start of A. They haven't been able to take up anywhere near the ground that they want to, waiting out this Viper ult.
That's not going to be easy to do. Steel, speaking of, we were talking about him earlier with that Guardian. He's going to land his shot, and 100 Thieves was securing A site control. He's still got dapr in a good position to re, and there it is on the entry. He's actually might be able to stop the plant, but no! Off the plant comes Nitro, and he will win that heads-up fight. Now it's just ShahZaM, with the operator in hand, and he is likely to save. I don't expect him to try and retake into 4 of 100 Thieves. That's definitely not going to happen.
No, you've got the operator. It's way too expensive to gamble on that. You're not going to be able to do too much against them either, with 4 sets of eyes from 100 Thieves looking in that direction. You'll just wait it out. It was a gamble. As you can see, there wasn't a lot of money remaining for 100 Thieves, and if they'd lost this, they would have been flat broke for at least 1 round, possibly 2, putting them at the mercy of Sentinels, who have been the better team when it comes to economy. They're going to fall off now because they know they've got the round. Evacuating A as the spike goes off in front of our eyes. And ShahZaM will live with the operator to see another day.
dapr almost was a massive playmaker in that round, just falling short. Unfortunate, but it happens. Great reactions as well from Nitro. Now, the A takes here, 400 Thieves, have been pretty darn solid. And that's especially considering this Viper's Pit that they needed to deal with. So, we might be seeing a tactical pause coming up here shortly. We'll see in just a bit. I mean, I think this is appropriate timing to try and slow things down. You know, these teams are neck and neck, and you know, it could definitely still go either way. But that's why these rounds right now matter most. I mean, look at this. We've got a bye from both teams, but Sentinel's economy is going to be shattered if they lose this one. So it's paramount that they actually manage to take this round, and that'll give them probably a good leg up to carry forward into future rounds.
Well, there was the tech pause that's been called, and now we'll see if it can do anything. We're back into the action, timer ticking away. In terms of ult usage right now, a much healthier economy for 100 Thieves, as well as Asuna, Hiko, and Nitro having access to their ults if need be. Only TenZ and Sick on the side of Sentinels. Problem for Sentinels is that they are now on the verge of going broke, as 100 Thieves was just a round or two previously, and that forced buy effectively by 100 Thieves ended up being a thing of beauty. Well, for 100 Thieves, they're looking to add insult and injury to Sentinels, who trail and immediately equalize, though, with the operator that was saved from ShahZaM working out so well. Repositioned from Ethan by Yellow now as he looks over towards smoke. Can't see anything with it. He's blocked off from the ice wall. Amidst the smoke is Sick. Once it dissipates, he can have potential line of sight onto the attackers. TenZ on flank. They know he's there. They go right by him. No, are you kidding me? TenZ, how do you win those? Ethan manages to finally stop him, but TenZ's damage is done at this point. Spike isn't down at all. Unfortunately for TenZ and the rest of his team, they've been punished now, leaving dapr in a 1v2. dapr not landing his shots through those 2 rounds, both times in crucial must-win situations, unfortunately coming up short for him. And with it, 100 Thieves now at 5-3.
2 leadoff picks, though, for 100 Thieves. And they give themselves firm command of the round. We saw them start a fake out. They wanted to go back towards A. That icebox rotation from B to A or from A to B is so long, but it's definitely workable. Especially if you're getting those early frags, so you're going to expect Sentinels to try and retake onto B, so that could work out. But because Sentinels doubled up on the flank, it almost went the other way. Not so, though. Unfortunate for Sentinels. Now they find themselves with 4 economy. They're going to have to try and work this with some sheriffs, 1 rifle. It's doable, but not ideal.
Well, TenZ is not able to continue that good streak that he has when it comes to the sheriff in hand, and neither is the rest of Sentinels, as they are finding themselves at the mercy of greater firepower from 100 Thieves, who just whisk their way into the site, and have now dislodged the 2 final members of Sentinels. A flawless round shaping up for 100 Thieves. They're going to need to grab the spike and get the plant down, and that's exactly what they're doing. As Hiko gets ShahZaM, leaving zombs in a 1v5. 1v4 now, so flawless is not really possible. Zombs will need to drop, and some noise will be made, but before he can do that, Asuna catches him from the back, and that's another round for 100 Thieves.
I mean, what do you expect, really, with the buy 400 Thieves and force for Sentinels? They tried their best to get that one, but no. Now they're actually going to be able to afford this round, though. They made sure of that, and finally get some even footing here. So it's been a relatively close icebox so far, and this is what we expected going into this, because both of these teams haven't lost icebox yet this month of the 5 times each of them have played it. So, considering that, you'd expect this to go pretty neck and neck. And even though the round count is currently 6-3, Sentinels have not been fully out of a lot of the rounds they've been losing. These are coming down to the wire often. So there's a lot of chance for this to turn around. And we've seen that we actually saw that in Haven earlier when Sentinels put themselves up early. The almost comeback from 100 Thieves. It's going to be a dedicated A push here for 100 Thieves as they shape up to execute.
The only one of these 2 teams to play Icebox, by the way, was 100 Thieves yesterday. They went 6 for 6 on attack, and already they've hit that mark. They have 3 more rounds to see if they can outpace Sentinels more than they can when they were playing yesterday against Anbox. A bunch of utility thrown out, and ultimate as well. From Steel as the lockdown goes down, and nobody's caught whatsoever. Nitro, beautiful spray transfer. That's 2 for him. Now looking very keenly to get dapr, who doesn't see to his left. No real perspective there for Nitro, as he'll continue to walk away. Taking some damage, though. Spike down. Things working out so well in favor of 100 Thieves, as they've got line of sight, they've got some area denial, and the re-entry for Sentinels is going to be fraught with peril. Zombs will need to look to his left as Nitro is positioned over there. Asuna sees him, though, and denies Nitro a potential kill, but Nitro gets the fourth anyway onto ShahZaM. A nice swing, and he just absolutely buries Sentinels on that round.
So that time, the lockdown from 100 Thieves and the control of the site like clockwork. We even saw Sentinels try and upset the flow by being a little aggro early on in that lockdown, but 100 Thieves are no fools, and they let the ability do the work for them on that control in A. Following that, it's really just the 4K from Nitro. I mean, boy howdy, by Boiler, he was unwaverable, and Sentinels struggling to just win any fight. The push-up through Boiler, by the way, was not at the same time as the push-up through Cat for Sentinels. So that was a mistimed retake if I've ever seen one, and it definitely caused them trouble. Once again, a shattered economy for Sentinels. So yeah, lead-off pick here, but I mean, the expectation is still that 100 Thieves will take this round.
ShahZaM might not have any superior firepower, but he's got some knives that are going to look for their targets directly ahead as he tries to wait out the Omen smoke from Ethan thrown out in front of him. He'll think otherwise, he'll back up. Steel creeping around A. He's also going to potentially go for a dry peek, as TenZ had done that earlier and got punished for it. Spot towards 100 Thieves back in their spawn is seen by dapr, who now repositions up towards kitchen. And ShahZaM has decided that he doesn't want to hold mid any longer. He's over towards A.
Oh. And Lear is going to force out the position from ShahZaM. He'll fall back deeper into sight. He's still got the knives, so this is very doable for him. The lurk from Nitro might actually net something, by the way, as he's going to actually call for the rotate. Ethan is in with Nitro, and now it's full B site control. What a fake out from 100 Thieves.
And you've still got Asuna in mid as well. He'll lose the turret in front of him, but continue over towards Tube, watching that and slowing down Sentinels as best as he can. Because of that, because of him being the impediment, it's allowed the spike to get planted in the middle of the site. So, for ShahZaM, he's got some more work cut out for him after dropping Asuna. And he will ever so slightly continue to retake. At least, if he can get past the remaining defenders that are going to be there. And I say defenders because even though it's Sentinels defending, they've lost control of the site. 100 Thieves have it just the way that they want it. Beautiful play from Ethan and Hiko to clean up. 8-3, we head into the final round of the first half.
Nitro was lurking by B for most of that round, and he called, not necessarily that it was clear, but he called that they had enough control by B because he had yellow. And because Nitro had yellow, easy teleport there for Ethan to solidify said control and give 100 Thieves an easy rotate out of A. That was shaping up to be an absolute bloodbath inside of A, but yeah, 100 Thieves pulled out at the perfect moment. And I think they just don't feel like they want to execute too committedly to an A site. They don't have the Killjoy lockdown. I actually kind of understand that. Sentinel's very aggressive. ShahZaM trying to get a pick off belt, but he's going to have to fall back without getting anything.
Well, nothing gambled, nothing gained. That's okay. But an ultimate that'll come out. It'll stop Asuna, who immediately crouches, hoping to not get hit. But oh my, dapr just manages to glance off of one shot onto him before he falls backwards. TenZ ends up getting punished for that as Asuna walks in, taking some more damage from Killjoy. But Asuna's got control of the back line. dapr manages to shut him down and will now need to try to stop the spike that's been planting? No, they were trying for it, but they think otherwise. Steel still has control and can possibly go for it when he wants, as both teams trade back and forth they go. Spike is surrendered, though, and a wall will go up now to stop them from getting it. This is where we can finally see the Sentinels gain their footing.
Nice shot there from Ethan. Down goes Sick, but it's a trade by Zombs in the 1 versus 1 now. Spike down, not planted. Zombs has to find this fight. Hiko trying to push up into sight, using those electric arrows to try and get some positional advantage. The wall is actually going to work for Hiko, as he can now cross to his preferred position. But he has to get the spike now, which is on the other side of said wall. It's going to be a fight by Boiler. Hiko doesn't seem to know, but he's realized now. Fake out with the rope, and it's going to work! Zombs losing the heads up gunfight. Hiko keeps the streak going for 100 Thieves.
Well, the good news is that the bleeding is at least stopped for the time being, because you've got this mandated breather as you switch sides. 100 Thieves putting in excellent work on that first half and consistently punishing a Sentinels team that struggled to play from behind. And we could harp on about economy, but for the Sentinels in the very first map, back on Haven, economy didn't really matter because when they were on the ropes, they still ended up coming out ahead in those eco rounds. This time, obviously, Icebox not playing that same way, and 100 Thieves looking quite proficient on it. Before we get started in round 13, as we now see Sentinels transition on to attack, it is worth noting that since the start of April, and since the change to the meta, obviously, with Viper becoming a staple on this map, Michael, that the only real top-tier team that we've seen the Sentinels team defeat on Icebox is T1. So could it just be that their stats are being masked by the fact that most of their victories came on qualifiers against teams that might not be of the same caliber as, say, 100 Thieves?
I mean, that's certainly possible, Parker. Oh, what a shot from TenZ! But at least they can land shots like that. So, I mean, it is something, and this pistol round is going to be super important for Sentinel's chances at taking this map and pushing this into a 2-0. I don't know at this point, Parker, but we almost saw the comeback from 100 Thieves last map, so anything seems possible when these two teams collide.
There's going to be a very narrow corridor here that is not concealed by that green poisonous wall. These 100 Thieves are watching ever so intently. Down goes TenZ as Nitro finds him, and it's back to a 4v4. Even numbers. That Frenzy's going to be positioned in a way to try and catch as much of the body at close range as possible. Asuna circling around, looking towards the back of Kitchen. Hiko not too far off. Nitro will walk over towards Tube, see if he can do anything as ShahZaM heads towards Kitchen himself. Maybe he's hungry. We don't know. Ghost in hand. Is he going to find anybody? There's nobody nearby. Nobody's giving an inch here. 20 seconds. By far and away the slowest round that we've seen between these two teams.
Gonna keep being slow. Sight control. Asuna, though, shutting down ShahZaM as he tries to get out of lane. And another for Asuna. He just can't miss right now, except for that fight, apparently. Sick will get away, but it doesn't really matter. He has to plant that spike, and all he's going to do is be the final kill for Asuna on an absolute tear in through B site.
That's a particularly crippling round for Sentinels, too, because 100 Thieves pick it up, and with the ecosystem, they're likely going to win the next round as well, barring essentially a miracle from Sentinels. Because of this, 100 Thieves will be on the precipice of putting this map away, setting us up for Bind as the last one. The thing is that you've still got a bit of a buffer for Sentinels at this point, but things are looking bleak.
Yeah, they certainly are. Sentinels, I think, after losing that pistol round, have very little chance of making the comeback happen, but anything is possible in Valorant. So we'll see. Sheriff's brought here from Sick and TenZ. Goes for dapr, and oh, there's TenZ landing his Sheriff shots. You gotta expect that. Now he's got the overheal, and he can start moving into sight. And it's the Spectre of Ethan to shut down Sick on that entry.
And more damage being done to TenZ too, as he's going to try to shrug off some of that shock dart. He gets punished by Ethan. The one opportunity that we got to see for him, it was good, but not good enough. He'll be able to grab the weaponry and fall back now, as Sentinels will need to get that spike planted at some point. Ooh, nice long-range shot from Steel. First playing the Guardian, now on the Marshal, as it leaves zombs to defend himself against the remaining players from 100 Thieves. Econ Bolt goes out, he's spotted, and Nitro will stop him. Spike also surrendered, of course, but that doesn't matter because the round breaks in favor of 100 Thieves.
And that's as you expect, Parker. So we're not seeing the same economy upsets from Sentinels that we saw on Haven earlier. And that is the major difference maker. It's not the only one, though. A lot of these rounds, strategically, 100 Thieves are just playing so well. The control is established. Every time 100 Thieves makes a push in through A, in particular, let's just like zoom in on that, they get defender nest control, then they manage to set up a crossfire that prohibits a retake, especially from Boiler. Boiler is such a point of focus for 100 Thieves, whereas Sentinels are not really putting a lot of emphasis on it, and it's causing them problems. This is the last chance round, really, for Sentinels, as this is going to be their last real opportunity to buy and have a good contention.
Do or die, as you would say, as 100 Thieves are getting chased off of their position, but they fight back. Steel in particular, 2 beautiful kills, and a third as well for him. Soldiering through the smoke, won't find more than that, but that's more than good enough, as Austin is there for backup. ShahZaM will need to do his best, but it's not good enough. Try hard, you're gonna have to try harder. Hiko puts 100 Thieves on map point.
Oh boy, that is rough right there. And to add insult to injury, for Steel, He used a sheriff to get the job done. You even saw him, honestly, he got a little bit greedy going for those pushes, but at that point, it didn't really matter. And his team was there with the support to lock that round out. So, map point here for 100 Thieves and Sentinels. I mean, they're going to bring together some sort of buy, but it's not a full. It's just the best they could do is one bulldog, excuse me.
I mean, at this point, what can you do? You've been starved of opportunity for 3 rounds now. Well, you're going to hope to get an early pick and then maybe fetch one of their weapons. And for Sick, that's very much a possibility. Nitro is the first casualty, and it comes at a time where 100 Thieves really don't need the round as much as Sentinels does. So Sick, another one. Ethan, though, punished for it. A 3v4. Sentinels have opportunities here, and they have plenty of time to work with. Still a minute to go, but Steel shuts down dapr, putting us back onto a 3v3.
Oh, this is difficult. Steel just not missing much, and there it is. 3 for him, cutting off the flank, and 100 Thieves will put